And welcome back to White Claw Wednesday, episode number 71. We're back in person. This is awesome.
This feels amazing.
Yeah.
This feels amazing. Welcome back, everyone.
Got a couple room temp tangerines here.
Room temperature,
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah, I brought those just for
Oh, yeah.
the thought of, you just got back from Hawaii. You're kind of, everything's sort of all over the place in terms of organization. And I was assuming there wouldn't be claws here just because I don't think your dad and your brother are big claw guys.
No,
in
they're
terms
not.
of keeping things stocked.
They're not.
Yeah.
So I appreciate you doing that.
Yeah.
Sorry, everyone. I just got to do this really quickly.
Got it. And then there we go.
Boom.
Cool.
Okay, we're back.
It was like I was hearing that little buzzing going on. I was like, all right, is that going to go away?
You know what
it's
that
gone.
is?
Yeah.
It's the electricity from your fingers.
Oh, okay.
Or either
Right.
that or the electricity coming off of this is
Being
like
right
being
around there.
pulled to
Yeah.
your fingers. All right, everyone. Welcome back. Episode what? 71?
71.
Wow, crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And we're back, dude. We're back in person. And
Oh, yeah.
yeah, man. Crazy times that we had, though. We had some good episodes.
We did have some good
And towards
episodes.
the end, too, we were really getting a flow going with the remote. I think
And-
at the beginning it was a little weird. Like,
Yeah.
we weren't used to it. And then, I mean, towards the end, those past two episodes,
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I always have a good time. But those were, like, prime.
I agree. And also, I felt like I got to say shout out to Skype because I thought Skype Skype made it pretty easy for us.
Big time. We tried Zoom, I think, on the first couple, but
Yeah.
Skype really showed up.
Oh, yeah. So, NBA playoffs.
Yeah. Oh, Lakers versus Warriors
yeah.
tonight.
Oh, and also, we're recording this the day it's releasing.
Yeah, for the first time in forever.
Yeah, in a while, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Lakers and Warriors are tonight, and man, I gotta say that I really want the Warriors to win, and it's only for really a couple reasons. The Suns are the second seed in the West, so whoever wins this, Warriors-Lakers matchup becomes the 7th seed, plays Suns, it's the 2 seed, and I do not want to have to face the Lakers the first round of the playoffs because they're the defending champions. They're not going to want to get knocked out in the very first round. It's LeBron, it's Anthony Davis, DeAndre Ayton struggles with guarding Anthony Davis because Anthony Davis is so big and can just shoot and score from anywhere.
And their last meetup,
Lakers without LeBron, Anthony Davis went Anthony Davis just went off. Like he scored 41.
It was insane.
And that again goes right back to what I'm saying about DeAndre Ayton is our best big man and he can't guard Anthony Davis.
Yeah.
So our best big man can't guard their best big man. That's not good when their big man can score from anywhere. So and also I'd much rather lose to the Warriors. Like I'd rather see like Steph Curry just like break history and just
he's incredible this season, isn't he?
Shoot like 53s or something in the series and
53s, yeah. Oh, in the series.
Yeah, I'm just like, and hypothetically, like that's why I'd rather see the Warriors win tonight, because not only do I think they're an easier matchup for the Suns, but I'd rather have a miraculous victory by the Warriors than have a probable victory by the Lakers, because they're just a nightmare matchup for us.
So the winner of the 7 and 8 seeds plays the 2nd seed, and then the winner of the loser of the 7th, 8th, plus the winner of the 9-10 faces the first seed.
So pretty much you got 7 through 10. Well, like it seems confusing at first, but when you really just stop and think about it, it makes perfect sense because you got
it's not hard to understand.
You got 7 through 10.
Yeah.
7 and 8 play each other. 9 and 10 play each other. 9 and 10, since they're technically not even like before, it was just the top 8 teams.
Right.
So it makes sense for the 9 and 10 teams to have that single elimination where if a team loses, they're immediately done, and then you move to the 7 and 8 matchup, and whoever wins that becomes the actual 7th seed, and then the loser of that game, because they were technically should have been in the playoffs already with the old rules, they get a second chance to make the playoffs again by playing the winner of the 9 and 10, and the winner of that game becomes the 8th seed. So either way, we have great matchups in the West with this new play-in format, because we either have the Warriors playing the Jazz, the Lakers playing the Jazz, the Warriors playing the Suns, the Lakers playing the Suns. It's just great. It's a lot of star power on each side, and it's cool to see how you have this first year ever play-in happen, and you get LeBron versus Steph Curry.
I mean, that's the story.
Yeah.
Right? Like, that is the headline because, I mean, just think 2 years ago or 3 years ago, Lakers.
Yeah.
Well, I guess Lakers would have been probably 7th, 8th, but like Steph Curry versus LeBron.
Well, it used to happen in the finals.
It used to be the finals,
and now
right?
It's happening
exactly.
in like a play-in thing, like a brand new thing. It's pretty
so new.
Yeah,
it's so
pretty
new.
Cool.
Who finished first in the West?
The Jazz ended up finishing. They
right on.
They went 52-20 was their final record, and the Suns' final record was 51-21. So we ended up being one game behind them. And the thing that stings the most is that we swept the Jazz in the regular season.
So you would have had.
Had we had the same record, we would have been the first place team. So the very last game of the season that Utah had played, like the very last day of the NBA season, all 30 teams played, and the Suns played in the morning, beat the Spurs, and then the Jazz played at night, and we're playing the Kings. So immediately I'm just sitting there thinking, okay, they're not going to lose this game. And they didn't lose the game. Like the Jazz killed the Kings and got the first place seed. But I was still just like rooting for the Kings with all my heart. And I was racking my brain trying to think of like the colleges that the stars on the Kings had gone to versus the colleges that the stars on the Suns had gone to. Because I'm thinking, are there any like college friends? Can a son text a friend on the Kings and be like, hey, I need you to win this game? But that didn't happen. But it was funny that, you know, a team is favored when you're watching the updates on your phone and it's the first quarter and the Kings take a 10-point lead against the Jazz and the Jazz still have the winning percentage. Like it still says like 61% chance. Because the whole time
like the odds are still in favor of them.
Yeah, the whole time you're watching the game, you're just seeing the winning percentage change.
It's like real time updating. Yeah, real time for like betting purposes.
Yeah, so I'm watching the Jazz behind by 10 and they're still have a 61% chance of winning the game, and it's just and it just you see like why that is a thing where they end up getting blown out. The Jazz end up blowing out the Kings. It's like, okay, well that's why they still had.
Well, they probably didn't start like their star players.
No, they didn't. And that was another.
That's probably
that
why.
was another thing where it's like the Kings probably would have lost by 40 had the Jazz played all their stars.
I'm really excited to be back here.
Yeah.
Only because sports
is lined up now on a regular time.
Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yep. Exactly, man.
Yeah, living on the West Coast is the best for sports because with the East Coast you got 3 hours ahead. Hawaii you got 3 hours behind. It's like, yeah.
I mean, there's not much sports going on in Hawaii, but except for college football, they're like super big on
the Hawaii college football
University
team.
Of Hawaii.
University of Hawaii.
Yeah. It's like that's like their NFL type thing. Or I mean, you see a lot of 49ers fans and Raiders fans.
Those both make. I mean, when I saw when we were in Maui, I was like, oh my God, California really is the closest in the United States. I mean, it's like.
Oh yeah, it is. Yeah. I think San Francisco is like the point because.
Oh okay.
Because California has this like weird edge and it like does this and then it kind of starts.
Kind of comes out.
Curves in and the way the Earth is shaped is just like the perfect little angle. Oh yeah.
So who's your? I mean, I know you're a Lakers fan.
Oh, I mean, I'm rooting for the Lakers.
Yeah, I mean, do you think that you guys can repeat as champions?
Because I really do with LeBron. I really do. I'm pretty confident.
I mean,
actually.
And Anthony Davis though.
Yeah, the thing is,
you can't forget about it because he is just as an unstoppable force. I think as LeBron.
100%. And I didn't mean that as in like LeBron over Anthony Davis.
Yeah.
But I just meant that LeBron's been out for a long time now, and Anthony Davis has been off and on. He's got these like back spasms or whatever.
Yeah.
So I think with him playing and Anthony Davis, if they're both healthy, I really think that we're the best team in the league. The only thing that worries me, is the fact that they haven't been playing together for a while, or at least LeBron hasn't been playing.
True.
So there's always that. I don't know. It's just this like weird. It's hard to explain, but they don't have that freshness, that quickness. That you have when you're playing together for a long time, or the chemistry is probably a better way to say it. So that's my only worry.
Yeah.
But I really think we're gonna beat the Warriors. I do.
I mean, I do too. That's why I'm just like, oh God, no.
And I'm not really. I think we'll at least get to the semis.
Kendrick Perkins, the former center for the Boston Celtics when they won the championship in 2008, he says, if the Lakers play the Suns, which he thinks is going to happen because. Like we do, we think the Lakers are going to beat the Warriors. He thinks the Lakers are going to beat the Suns in 5 games. And I saw that headline on a video, and I was like, I'm not clicking on that video.
Who's this?
Kendrick Perkins. He's the former center for the I don't know if you remember when the Boston Celtics won the championship in 2008 with like Paul Pierce and Kevin Garnett.
I do remember that. I don't know.
He was the center of that team.
Gotcha.
And, I really don't think anybody is taking the Suns seriously. which might be the one advantage we have if we do play the Lakers, and that maybe they don't think we're as good as we are, and then we surprise them a little bit. But
I mean, I definitely think that the Suns are a really good team.
Yeah, I really don't think DeAndre Ayton can guard Anthony Davis, and I love DeAndre Ayton. He's just too he's not like he's just as tall as Anthony Davis, but he's just not like big. Like he doesn't have that freaking the Terminator build, those broad ass shoulders and big old muscles,
like Giannis and
Anthony Giannis and Anthony Davis, and I mean Joel Embiid.
Yeah,
hard time saying his name. Joel Embiid. He doesn't really have really the muscular look, but he's just really big.
He's got
he's just naturally giant, And I get it with DeAndre Ayton because he's like, I think he's just a year younger than me. I think he's like 22 or
he's young,
right
for
around
sure.
there. So he still hasn't hit that full grown man body, I guess, because I couldn't match up with Anthony Davis.
He's not in his prime yet.
Yeah,
no way.
Exactly. So it's like it's a tough time to have that matchup happen, but I wouldn't be surprised if Jay Crowder on the Suns ends up guarding Anthony Davis just as much as DeAndre.
Well, your guys' X factor, I think, is Chris Paul.
Oh,
because I mean, the stuff.
You can say that.
It's just, I don't even know how to explain what he does to teams. He
gets in their heads.
I mean, not to the opposite, not to the opponent, but that's true.
Yeah.
But also like the team that he's on. I mean, he took Oklahoma to the playoffs last year, and I pretty much give him like a lot of that journey. I give him a lot of credit.
Oh yeah,
because literally they had like the worst odds. I think they were expected to be last or something like that, and they went to the playoffs and they played the Rockets and they took them to a Game 7.
And look at how bad they are now that he's not on the team. I'm pretty sure
Who did they trade him for?
I think they were second to last in the West this year.
Who did they trade him for?
Oh, I can't even remember. I don't even know.
Yeah,
how did we get Chris Paul? Was he a free agent?
I don't think
so. No,
so.
we traded for him. We did trade for him.
I think you guys.
I can't remember who we traded for him because.
Did you guys Ricky Rubio?
Oh yes,
it was a weird trade.
It was a multiple team trade because Ricky Rubio ended up back on the Timberwolves. He was the main guy we got rid of, and I think we got rid of some other picks, like some draft picks maybe, and some small guys. But Ricky Rubio was the main exit from the Suns to get Chris Paul. But it was well worth it. And I was a little skeptical at first because I mean even after the whole Oklahoma City thing occurred, I was like, okay, well that was incredible. But Chris Paul, it's like. I was just thinking of all the times he'd been with the Clippers. They never made the conference championship, and I'm thinking it was 36. I'm like, what? I was doubting, a little bit, but I was happy to have him because I was like, okay, we get a veteran point guard, which we always need, and he ends up just blowing my expectations. I mean,
phenomenal,
second place in the West, and I think everybody like after the 8-0 bubble performance the Suns had, everybody was thinking, okay, maybe like 6th or 7th or 5th in the West.
I was thinking playoffs, but not second.
And then they get and also not only second, but the second best record in the whole league.
Right. Oh yeah, good point.
So, I think the reason why I have confidence in a championship run this year for the Suns, just as much as the Lakers or the Nets or any of the other powerhouses, is just because of Chris Paul. I really think he might know that this is his last good shot at it.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I don't think he's going to be this good again. Maybe I'm wrong, but. I don't know. I just feel like this is the peak of his greatness where he can potentially be like, holy shit, like this is probably the most talent I'm going to have around me for the rest of my career. And this is probably going to be the hottest and like most, team, tightness that I'm going to have going into a playoff run. Probably going to be my last great shot. So like, I'm just going to go balls to the wall and go all out. And that's what gives me the confidence to make a run because there's been many games this season where Devin Booker has kind of just fallen down in terms of his performance in the fourth quarter and he kind of disappears and Chris Paul gets the ball in his hands and he takes over and he starts hitting shots that are just ridiculous. There's been many games like the game that sealed the playoffs for us when we beat the Clippers. Devin Booker didn't have the ball in his hands most of the fourth quarter. It was all Chris Paul and he just has that veteran anger in him where he can just yell at players and tell them what to do and they listen to him and they're scared of him in the best way and they look up to him as like a father figure and all that kind of shit. So yeah, it's going to really break my heart when we get eliminated and it's all like I'll probably like, oh man, I'm just so excited. Like I've never been like I was 12 years old when they were last going to the playoffs. So it's just like this is huge. I mean, I feel like a different person. Like, I feel like, honestly, it's been so long with the 10 years. It feels like we're going to the playoffs for the first time in my life,
Yeah.
And then the last time we were in the playoffs, we get freaking daggered by Kobe in, the 2010 Western Conference Finals. And the Lakers go on to win the championship that year, and that was, the farthest Nash made it was the conference finals. But, yeah, I just getting knocked out by the Lakers in the first round this year would really sting.
It would.
It would really sting.
It would sting. I mean, I would be happy, but I would be sad for you. There's two sides to the coin, I think, with the Suns. One, the reservation that I have is lots of young players, or at least the 2-star players, are young, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they don't have that playoff experience.
Yeah, exactly.
But then also you have Chris Paul.
Yeah.
It's like, how much does Chris Paul factor into these young kids' heads and lead them to perform? Because I really think that the Suns could beat the Lakers. Like, it's not about that. I think
fully
it's like
confident
the pressure.
we can beat anybody.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's one of those things. It's just like whether or not we can show up.
It's the pressure. It's the experience. It's level-headedness.
The confidence.
It's all that. It's all that that factors in. And I just think that the Lakers are gonna win.
They have
over
more.
That.
They have more of that.
Exactly.
They have more, and even their bench players have more of that in a way.
True.
Like, I think of somebody like Montrez. Montrell. I can't remember if it's Montrell. It's spelled like it should be pronounced Montrezl, but I think it's Montrell Harrell.
I think it's French.
Yeah. So
something like that.
He's an example of a role player who I never think he's not confident. He's always got that full level of. I mean, it's not just because he yells "and one" on every play, but he also just has that energy to him that's like he's the one dancing to the song during warm-ups,
Yeah.
That was a big thing when I played high school basketball, is that you can always tell who's confident in warm-ups. If a guy's loose and singing along or moving to the music that's usually playing, that guy's ready to go. Like, nothing's going to get in his way. But if you see a guy with loud music playing, the crowd's into it, warming up, and you see a guy just like looking like a robot warming up, like just face completely emotionless, and that guy probably won't play as good.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just generally, and that was me too. Like, I know this because that was me. I was the guy who wasn't dancing, and I wouldn't play as well because
it's universal in all sports.
Yeah,
though,
you got to start. You got to be loose.
Yeah.
And the Lakers have role players who give me that kind of energy, like Caldwell Pope. Caruso, those kind of guys are like, even though they played terrible without Anthony Davis and LeBron James, when they have those stars on the floor, I think they go full. They have that confidence presence.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you got more support. I got a question for you.
Yeah.
I always find it hilarious.
Yeah.
Okay, and maybe this is just me, but I always find it hilarious when I see people with like hats on or shirts on, and it's conference finalists.
Oh, yeah.
Or conference champions.
Yeah.
Are you gonna, if the Suns make it to the conference finals, or they win it,
they win the conference and then they lose in the finals?
Are you gonna buy one of those conference finalist hats?
No,
God.
No.
It's all or nothing, right?
It's all or nothing. It is, because that's the thing. Like, I have enough Suns gear that just says like Suns on it that I don't need to buy gear to remind me of how close we got to winning our first ever championship. Like, we've never won one.
Yeah.
And when you're a franchise like the Suns, or like even like a franchise like the Raptors, when that golden opportunity is around, you really got to go all in, because it's not probably going to be around for a while, just because you're not a big market team. Like, you think about the Lakers, they did have a few years where they were bad after Kobe. After he retired.
It's actually quite a few.
Exactly.
Not as many as the Suns.
But that's what I'm saying. It's like it's hard to enter such a drought when you're in a place like Los Angeles or New York.
Right. There's always going to be money flowing through.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So that's another reason why when these moments come around, you gotta go.
Phoenix is booming though, man. Phoenix is on the come up, and LA is not. That's what's crazy.
Oh,
for the future.
For the future.
Places like Phoenix, Denver, I mean, money is flowing there. Like, well,
that's good to hear.
In crazy numbers.
Maybe that will change things.
I mean, jobs are popping up for tech over there, and tech's got money. So yeah, absolutely. I mean, things are changing definitely. I mean, California is always gonna be California.
True.
The location,
it's always gonna have that weather.
Right. Location is like so important when you're buying a home or even wanting to just live anywhere.
Yeah. So, are you still thinking? What are you thinking for where you want to be?
I'm thinking, we're looking pretty much all
SoCal, right?
Yeah. All in Orange County right now.
Nice.
Amanda's really big on like school districts.
Oh, okay.
I personally it
True.
wasn't a big thing for me. Obviously,
didn't even think of that.
not like 1-2 ratings, but I mean, I turned out fine, and I don't think Poly's like super highly rated in terms of schools.
Yeah, but it's definitely pretty good.
It's above par.
Yeah,
I think it's probably like a 6 or 7. That's my guess.
Do they do the ratings on scale of 10? Is it all scale 10?
Yeah, scale of 10s.
Okay.
I don't know who the governing body is on school ratings.
Just like we're going with 10s.
Yeah, but it also means that you're gonna have higher property taxes because if you didn't know this, schools are mainly funded by property taxes. It's
Makes
like
sense.
a terrible system. Well, it makes sense. Yeah. But also it's a bad system because then you just get communities that get richer and
then
other communities that get poorer and poorer, and then school districts get poorer and poorer. Anyways, yeah. So we're thinking Orange County with good school districts. Probably Yorba Linda, Placentia. I don't even know if I'm saying that right.
I think you are saying that one right, and it's whenever I see that one, I think of the science term. You know.
You mean placenta?
Mm-hmm.
With a C? Yeah, it's with a T.
That one. Yeah. I always think like when I see that sign on the freeway, I'm just like, yeah.
Well, we checked out Westminster the other day, which is by Fountain Valley, and it's like east of Costa Mesa, okay. So closer to the beach and closer to LA.
Oh, sweet.
Which we would like, but yeah, we didn't like the community there. So so we'll see.
You've already been doing some looking, just like online, pretty much.
No, yesterday we went.
You
literally yesterday. Yeah. Okay. So we went in person. We checked out a couple houses. Mainly in Yorba Linda, and then one in Westminster. Yeah. So yeah, man, we're looking. We're on the market. So
nice.
Hopefully by like August, we'll have something secured or at least be in escrow. I mean, we're not in a rush. You know, we don't want to rush into it. And then plus, there's a lot of uncertainty right now, dude.
Yeah.
Because I was just reading about this like a couple weeks ago, but there's this foreclosure. Mm-hmm. Moratorium, kind of like the eviction moratorium or rent moratorium, whatever. Okay. You know how people have been postponing their rent, basically?
Yeah, because of COVID and stuff.
Because COVID, right. Yeah. Well, there's a foreclosure moratorium as well. Mm-hmm. That's been extended to July of 2021.
Wow.
So we don't know what's going to happen with the market at that point because there's going to be...
Yeah.
I mean, there's going to be foreclosures at that point, right? I mean, unless someone's...
So... pretty much all the foreclosures that would have happened due to COVID is just getting pushed back.
Right, so there's not that much inventory because of that. I don't know why they call it inventory. I'm like talking to like lenders and stuff, and they're like, "There's just not a lot of inventory." It's like, what?
I mean, you could call anything inventory when you're selling it, I guess.
Yeah, it's true.
It's like, wait, I thought you were selling dildos. Yeah, I call it inventory. Yeah.
So I think right now prices are pretty high because there's not a lot on the market, but also interest rates are low. So you're paying more for the house, but you're not paying as much in interest over time. And dude, did you know? Yeah, it's actually been a crazy learning experience for me. Did you know that when you buy a house, right, you take a loan from one of these quote unquote lenders, okay? Fat loan. Like more than you can imagine.
Yeah. This is going to segue nice into a point I just thought of. So,
Okay, so you get this fat loan. I mean, if you have enough money to buy a home with cash, that's great, but most people don't. So you get this fat loan, and they're charging you an interest rate, and that interest rate is compounded, which means you're being charged interest on your monthly payment every single day. And it's usually like $30 to $40. So you're paying like $30 to $40 every single day in interest. Yeah. Which means that that's not even going to your equity at all. That's just going to the bank for giving you that money up front. Yeah. It's like crazy, dude, you know? Yeah. So it's insane.
Like you're talking about learning all this stuff as you start to look around, shop around. It makes me, it always takes me back to just like, I love to blame the government. I just don't know why the public school.
Great segue.
Why the public school system? Why doesn't the public school system have classes that are like they had the health class for a while that taught you about like sex and stuff and like reproduction and just like scientific, or just like details of our bodies that we weren't old enough to know about back when we were little kids or whatever. So they had health, and then they take away health. Yeah, So it's, first of all, okay, well, there's a mistake number one. So clearly we're not on the right path, and they're continuing to not be on the right path because where's the life lessons class? You know, where's the class where you take it and you learn about, oh, this is how I do my taxes on my own.
Yeah.
Oh, this is how I buy a house.
This is what APR is.
Exactly. This is how I rent an apartment. This is how I establish my credit. This is how I get a 401k. It's just all these like. And you know what's crazy? I'm naming things, and I couldn't even explain most of the things I just said to you because I didn't have the class for it.
Right.
I mean, I'll learn as I go, obviously, like everybody does, like Ryan's doing right now.
Right.
But it's just for the future, like, where's that class?
Well, we need what we need, right? Right now, our school system is set up. It is just so embedded and pushed that, okay, you go to high school and then you go to college. Yeah. If you don't go to college, something bad's going to happen to you. You're not going to make that much money. Something like that, right? Yeah. That's like in your mind, you know? And it's like you're almost like, you know, if you have bad grades, which I had bad grades, and I didn't even think I was going to get into a 4-year university, I was like worried that I wasn't going to be able to do anything in life, you know? And we need to shift it. We need to shift it from, hey, college is a good option. It's a great option. You're going to meet a ton of friends. It's going to be a good time, and you're going to learn a ton, right? And you're going to get a lot of basic, like, general education. It's a great option for sure. But you can also go to a trade school. You can create your own business. Yeah. You can do whatever you want, really. Or you could, and that should be encouraged. Yeah.
Trade schools are great. You could also get hired at a job that doesn't require a college degree and just freaking work your way up and kill it. And be an expert in some trade, right? Exactly. Like an electrician, something like that. Like you don't necessarily need to. You can get an apprenticeship between, like, the company that you work for. Like the best salesman at the job that Scott used to work at. Yeah. Like the place that was slinging the solar panels.
Yeah.
The best
slinging solar panels.
Slinging solar panels. The best slinger of solar panels was a guy without a college education.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like it's experience. 1 year of experience is more than a 4-year degree. Yeah, I swear. Oh yeah, I swear. I mean, in most practices or in most studies, 1 year of experience is going to teach you more than a 4-year degree. It's crazy to think about, but it's like we've built this system up of like colleges, and you know. To be at this specific job, you have to have a college degree. It's like a minimum requirement, you know? It's preposterous. It really is. It's absolutely preposterous. And when I have kids and they're growing up, I'm going to tell them, you don't have to go to college. You can, damn straight, as long as you're pursuing something and as long as you're working hard at it and trying to improve, and you have to be an expert at something in life, right? And when you're an expert at something, that gives you value, right? And that's how you make money. Yep. It's really simple. But you know, society has sort of pushed everyone to college, and if you don't go to college, it's like, it's weird. It's weird, and I think that's why we don't have that type of education within our high school, because they're like, we just need them to be educated and be good at learning new things, you know. And so we're prepped for college, where we just have to continue learning new things, even though we're really not going to use 80% of it, you know. In life. Not to say that it's not important to learn, like it's always good for everyone to learn algebra, you know, and geometry, but it does need to be changed. There needs to be a switch on, hey, these are also some great trades that you can get into, you know, for high paying jobs. Yeah. And also there's the whole there's the student debt thing. Like why is it so expensive to, you know, it's like preposterous.
Like why am I getting cafeteria food in high school for a school I'm not paying, you know, $20,000 a year for, and then I'm also getting like cafeteria food at the place where I'm paying $20,000. I know it's better food, but it's like still it's like why do I feel like I'm doing the same thing, except now I'm just paying an arm and a leg, you know? I just love how accurate and on point that was to your personality. It's like you view college debt in terms of food, you know? You're like, wait a second, I'm getting food here and here, but I'm paying here. Like, what's the problem? What's the issue? Like, what? Yeah, it is a huge problem, man. I mean, kids are coming out of college and, first of all, not having the skills. I mean, some of these degrees are not enough to get you a high-paying job for you to pay off your student debt within 10 years. Yeah. I mean, especially if you're living in a high what's the word? High cost of living. Yeah, high income. Like area. California. So, yeah, I mean, and then what's the next step, right? You don't have a job. Yeah. You can't pay off your student loans. So what do? You go to master's. You get your master's degree. So you just like right? You just keep going. Yeah. You keep going, and it's preposterous, man. Yeah. It is absolutely a problem. Like I've seen that. Like a lot of people with, you know,
I won't say a degree, but some degrees, it's hard to get a good job if you only have a bachelor's degree in this field of study, right?
Yeah.
And so they go get their master's, right? And now they're in way more debt.
Yeah, probably double.
Probably more than double, because getting your master's degree is not cheap.
Even though it's usually less years than the bachelor's.
Less years, but it's way more expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also there's a lot more master's degrees in private school, I think. Like private schools offer more masters, or they're more prestigious, I guess. So that's always, and then sure enough, you have these 23, 24-year-olds.
Yeah. They're
in over $100K of debt.
Yeah. And it's like,
what do you do, man? What do you do?
You look at yourself in the mirror and you say, you know what? The United States is in more debt than I am. And then you realize, what is debt?
The United States is doing fine. I can do fine.
Going. It just kind of reminds me of the attitude of, I declare bankruptcy.
Yeah. Who says, Michael, that's not what you...
That's not how bankruptcy works. Speaking about old, just classic shows, the Friends reunion. Is Amanda excited about that?
Actually, she's not. Well, she's excited, but she's upset as the structure. Like, she wanted... Her idea about a Friends reunion was them coming back and doing episodes as their characters. Something along those lines.
Well, yeah, like back in character, like doing new episodes.
Doing another season. Maybe it's only 3 episodes,
Wait,
whatever.
That's not what they're doing?
Not according to what I heard, which is through her, which I'm about to tell you, which is going to be really broken.
It's all good.
It's more of like a show, and like they're bringing on performers, and they're gonna like do interviews, that type of vibe. Isn't that sounds so bad?
No. See,
like I want a season of Friends. It could really be one episode.
Those are DVD extras that they're gonna try to freaking pitch as a reunion. Like,
literally,
come on,
it could be one episode where they're like 10 years down the line, 20 years down the line, and they're all like doing their own thing, and then they meet
that's
up.
What I thought they were doing. I thought they were doing like they're all back in character, doing another little run, little one season story as older versions of their characters. Yeah, that's disappointing, because I'm imagining all the people like just around the world with the Friends box set of DVDs thinking, but that just sounds like a DVD commentary.
Right, right.
Interviews and, talking about the show with the old cast.
She said that like they were like picking a band to come play.
Yeah.
It didn't make sense to me.
I don't know, man. I mean, with a show like Friends, like I don't even think the whole reunion thing is necessary, It's like the same way as I feel about The Office. Like, I don't want a reunion special. Like, I don't want them all coming back to do like the ending of that show.
The Office doesn't make sense to do that, though.
Yeah, like the ending of that show, like, made me cry and stuff. Like, it was beautiful and stuff. Like, even if you're like a season 8 and season 9 hater, like, if you're not, like, whatever. But I'm just saying, like, either way, the show doesn't need to come back.
No.
And it wouldn't. I mean, it wouldn't work today. It wouldn't work today. We're just not. We're not
talking about The Office.
Yeah, I'm talking about the kind of humor that it had. Like, we're just not. I mean, the first episode has Michael putting the receptionist thing up to his. He does like a hit. Like, it's just not.
Yeah, he does do that, huh?
Yeah, and then.
And
it's just a lot of. We're just living in a different world. Like, I just feel like the reason why these when they bring stuff back after a long time, whatever it is, just bringing something back, just never. It never hits in the same way.
Yeah, that's true.
And you could say, "Oh, Mad Max Fury Road," but I would say to you, that doesn't count. Okay,
definitely doesn't count. They don't talk.
Well, not only that, but they didn't bring back old Mel Gibson.
Oh, true.
To play Mad Max. They just did a whole new thing.
Right.
And they made it like a new movie.
Yeah.
So it's not. It's like they're doing another Indiana Jones with Harrison Ford playing Indiana Jones still, and I'm sitting here just like, whoa, God, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, why not just create a new story with a new Indiana Jones type character and just name it something else?
Right.
So you're not attaching this heavy weight of needing to perform in this amazing way. Like, there's a reason why it's been so long since we had the 4th Indiana Jones. It's because the 4th one did so shit.
Right.
It's like, do you not realize that these things have shelf lives, and they're more beautiful when you leave them alone and go back to them and enjoy them than try to make the magic again.
Yep.
You always want to be creating new magic. You don't want to be making old magic.
Didn't they do the same with Rambo?
Yeah, I mean, that's its own thing. I mean, that's
the
you
thing
could
that I
say
love
that
about
with
it,
that, but it's like even with something like Rambo, it's always been sort of dumb and simple that you can do it at any age.
It's true, but I love when they brought it back, and it's like he's so old, Sylvester Stallone. And it's like they're doing these action scenes, and it's just like
the cuts, the amount of cuts,
so obvious.
They got to cut it to hell.
Right, exactly.
Because you can't move in any way that's actually cool looking.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I'm thinking about the same thing with Indiana Jones. Like it's just gonna be like
it's gonna
be less cool because he's old.
Basically, what you're gonna get if you have 3 seconds of Indiana Jones throwing a punch and punching a dude, a bad guy.
Yeah.
Those 3 seconds are probably gonna have 5 frames. Boom, 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 just like that, quick, and you just be like, "Wait, what? Indiana Jones punched somebody?" And you're gonna be like, "No way, he's like 80 years old."
Right.
So that's why the John Wick movies are cool. That's why we can't. That's why I don't want to see John Wick continue when Keanu hits that old man. As soon as Keanu can't do these stunts, with the camera stationary, as soon as he can't memorize this, karate choreography,
sequence,
we just want to just cut the franchise,
just stop
kill
it,
just stop it, just stop it.
Yeah. Or have like one of those. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna play devil's advocate here because I hated when they did the Bourne. They tried to redo Bourne with Jeremy Renner.
Oh, and then they also did the 4th one with Matt, and they brought Matt Damon back because everybody hated the Jeremy Renner one.
Right.
And then also everybody
Bourne
hated
Legacy or something.
Yeah, like the Jeremy Renner was Bourne Legacy.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, fuck that.
Yeah.
And then they bring back Matt Damon, and the same director who did the 2nd and 3rd, Bourne movies. And then everybody's like, okay, this one also sucks.
Yeah.
And then I think we realized, oh, wait, I think we just want to not go back to this anymore.
Right.
It's just, the coolest moment was in the trailer when he knocks that dude out in the sand.
Which one?
For the Jason Bourne movie. When they brought Matt Damon back, he's got like that, he's doing that outside fight club, and he just walks up and he one-hit KOs that guy.
Yeah.
And you know what sucks? In the movie, the way they shot it in the trailer, they didn't put it in the movie the same way it was in the trailer. So in the movie, it's not as cool as in the trailer. So
why would they do that?
Because they're trying to market a movie and they want to get you in, and then like they did that with Infinity War by having the final shot with the Hulk running in Wakanda, and I was just, oh God, I was so freaking. I was like, the Hulk in Wakanda, let's freaking go! And then the movie happens, and it's stupid Mark Ruffalo's head floating above some CGI suit, and I'm just sitting there like that. They really, I'm mad when I think of what they did to Hulk because they really just did this. They did this random thing where it's like, oh, Infinity War, he can't turn into Hulk. Oh, and now Endgame, he's literally living as Hulk.
Yeah.
We could have easily had Infinity War be about him struggling with turning back into Hulk, like going back and forth, and we could have seen Hulk transformations throughout Infinity War, seen him struggling to like control Hulk and say, hey, I know we lost to Thanos in the beginning of this movie, but let's get our shit together.
Right.
And then by the end of the movie, he gets the shit together, and it's like, oh my God, he's going to become Professor Hulk. And then next movie, it's like, oh my God, there's Professor Hulk. It makes sense. But with the way they did it, with just having him in the suit for the majority of Infinity War, and then just suddenly he's smart, it's like, God.
Yeah. Well, it was a complete different like story arc,
Yeah.
He's like this like reserved scientist.
Yeah.
Like didn't like to
be
Hulk.
Yeah.
And then it's complete 180. Complete 180, They made him like they made him from a serious reserved character that was like a voice of reason to somewhat of a joke, kind of like a Thor type character towards like the end of Ragnarok.
Yeah, I think it might have been the passing on of like, because they had that whole Black Widow romance going on in Age of Ultron, second Avengers.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And then, but that was the last one Joss Whedon did, and then they moved on to the Russo brothers, and they started doing more comedy in all the movies, so they kind of turned Hulk into this joke of a character almost, which is kind of disappointing from a genius scientist who rages out into a green monster. I feel like there's a lot of character there, but they just kind of said, fuck it, we'll make it the same person.
I wasn't so upset about it until you were telling me right now.
until I brought it up. Yeah. I mean, it's not really a big deal when you watch the movies because it's like they made him to be a minor character. They made it so where like Iron Man, Thor, and Captain America are the 3 you're moving with through this Infinity Saga. And they did that also just because of the whole Universal movie rights with the Hulk and not being able to do solo Hulk movies after the Ed Norton thing and all that recasting. I just think it just naturally happened to where Hulk just kind of became a minor character like, Hawkeye and so on. Yeah.
It's crazy because they started out with Hulk.
Yeah. I mean, he was the second movie.
Iron Man and then
Iron Man and then the Incredible Hulk. Yeah.
Yeah, that is insane, man. I never thought of it that way.
Yeah.
You'd think he would be a main character.
Yeah, because he's the most powerful.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
It's kind of a hard character to like make a main character, though.
Definitely, it is
because he's got this like weird uncontrollable rage.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And you want to see when you're watching the movie, it's tough when you're working with a character like that because it's like you're like, okay, all I'm seeing is the Hulk smash stuff.
Right.
But then when you're seeing him in human form, you're like, I want to see the Hulk smash stuff.
Right.
So it's hard to find that balance.
Yeah, definitely. I agree. So I got to tell you a story before we close.
All right, let's close.
Speaking about smashing things, I'm going to pull you.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking about smashing things, so this past weekend, this Saturday, I was working on like fixing up the house, doing whatever I could. I mean, I'm not a contractor or like special at all, but there were some tiles broken downstairs because Amanda's family is selling the house, right?
Okay.
So we're trying to get it ready, and there's some tiles downstairs. And they're on the ground. It's like flooring, pretty much. And so I'm on the ground caulking tiles to the floor, getting the seams all nice and crisp.
Work right there,
yeah, it was. Yeah. And I was like on the ground. And so I was like in a deep squat, essentially, because I like to think that I can squat deep. And
power squat.
Right, exactly. Mm-hmm. And so I'm in this position for like 2 minutes, right? And I'm on the ground. I'm cleaning things up, and I'm about to finish. And I get up.
Yeah.
What do you think happens?
You get up. You slip, and you land like you slip, and then you fall back onto the tiles you had placed behind you, and you crack them. That's what, am I close?
You're pretty close.
Okay.
So what happens is I pass out. Swear to God.
From being in a power squad for so long.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if it's a power squat. It's just a deep squat.
Did you also get up too fast? Is that what you stood up like a rocket?
I just stood up from the squat.
You probably did a fucking shot up like you had weight on you.
No, I don't know.
Last rep. And just knock out.
So I stood up and I start getting really lightheaded and I'm like, whoa, And so I try and grab onto the door. And so I try and grab onto like the top of the door. And then I black, dude. I don't remember.
Last thing you remember is grabbing for the top of the door.
Yeah. Last thing I remember, grabbing for the top of the door. Then I remember little bits and pieces. Okay. I'm like, think of the door over here. It's maybe like 5-6 feet away for everyone that's listening. And I'm grabbing the door and then I pass out. So obviously like my arms don't have any grip to them because I'm passed out. But like your body's still trying to save itself.
Yeah.
But like your mind's gone, And so I remember like hearing my hands hitting the table, and then I remember like hearing something fall off the table. Guess what, dude?
What fell?
My head hit a brick wall.
What?
Hard.
What?
Yes.
What? Are you okay?
I mean, yeah, according to doctors.
Okay, so you went to the doctors. Okay, that's good.
So I hit the brick wall hard. I mean, I had like a monkey bump right here.
Okay, so this was a while ago then.
This was Saturday.
Oh, the Saturday. Okay, so the monkey bump is gone. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can kind of still feel it, but and I'm on the floor, and okay, this is what was scary about it. All right, so I'm on the floor and I'm like unconscious, and I'm finally coming to.
Yeah.
And I remember, okay, when like fighters get knocked out and they're kind of like tensing up like this
as they fall, they're tensing up, and then they're also like they're confused about where they are when they come back too.
Yeah, but like I'm strictly talking about like tensing up.
Okay.
I was like in this weird state where I was like,
body was locked.
I could feel my body just like tensing like this, and then relaxing, and then tensing like this, and then relaxing, and then tensing like this and relaxing, and I'm literally and dude, I don't remember anything at this point. And I'm like, what the hell is happening? I can't get out of this phase. Like my eyes are closed. And I finally come to, and I'm like looking around, and I'm like, oh my God. I just passed out, fell back, hit my head on a brick wall, started like convulsing or whatever, and now I'm here. And I'm just sitting there, and I'm laying on the ground, and I'm like, oh my God, what just happened?
And meanwhile, Amanda's just like watching TV. Just.
Well, no one was down. No one was downstairs.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So no one saw me, and then she comes in like 2 minutes later, and at first she's laughing. She's like, "Like, why are you on the floor?"
Because you're just laying there.
Yeah. And I'm like, I just passed out, and she didn't think I was serious at first.
Yeah.
And I was like, I passed out, and I was like, and I'm pretty sure I hit my head on that brick wall. And I'm like, it hurts right here, and she's like, oh my God, like you're bleeding. And I'm like,
fuck.
Okay, yeah, confirm.
Kill confirm.
So I really double whammied the brain damage this past weekend.
Oh man,
Passed out, and then as I'm unconscious, hit my head on a brick wall. So.
Oh, so you think the hit in the head on the brick wall came after you passed out? Like it wasn't like all one motion?
No. I passed out. This is what the doctor told me.
Mm.
So I actually called a doctor that day, and she was telling me, she's like, okay, so this is what happened. You're in a deep squat, and what happens when you're deep squat is your blood vessels get constricted, right? Because you're
bunched up,
right?
You're scrunched up, yeah.
And so what happens is your blood pressure is really high because your heart's still going, and
you're obviously doing manual labor.
Right, exactly. Yeah. But your blood can't get to like your feet or like your legs
or your head as well. Just can't move as well.
It can't move as well because you're tightening certain areas of your body, right? And so she's like, and then when you stood up, all those blood vessels got opened up. There's no more creases in them. And so your blood pressure went from super high to super low.
Ah, okay.
And when that happens, your body's natural response is to pass out, apparently. So, passed out. Yeah, and then I hit my head.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And so, probably, I didn't get told I got a concussion.
Okay, well, that's a good thing.
So, I went in today, actually, got a CT scan, and they said everything was good. So, just a funny story now. Wow. Not anything serious.
Yeah, now that everything's good, it's just funny. Okay, well, here's to power squats and the positions they put us in.
Cheers to that, my friend.
Thanks for watching episode 71. This has been White Claw Wednesday. We love y'all. Peace out.